Okay, hello. So for this video, I'm going to be creating the post form, I think. Let's see. Post form test. Indeed, I will be. And it says write post form container before post form. Shoot. Okay, post form container. And I wrote something here, okay? So this is just kind of like the basic skeleton of the container for the post form. And I did this in another video, just so you know, if you've started on this video, just right away. And let's see here. I need to pass the specs, maps, state to props. So let's see. I'm just going to open up my post form test. Actually, I'm just going to close everything in. Open up post form test and post form container. Okay. So where is my first test? Correctly maps state to props. So our post form wrapper, which is whatever this thing did, its props.post should equal an object with a key title, key body, which are empty strings. So if you watched my previous video, my theory on what this is doing is it's getting the props of the post form, right? So the props of the post form must have a post key. And to give props to our post form, we use map state to props, and we want to give it a post key which evaluates to this object right here. Let's make this look nicer. And there we go. I think we should pass a test. All right, and let's do the same for the dispatch part. We need action to be defined. Don't really know what action means, but we're just going to write action here and define it. And that should pass our second test. Great. Pre-fills title and body input fields with empty string. So let's see. Looks like it wants the title inputs props dot value. So title input has to have a value prop, and that value prop has to equal an empty string. And what is title input? Let's check up here. It looks like it's trying to find an input component where the inputs props, where the inputs type prop is text. Okay, so let's go into our post form and create a form, not a from, form. And it's going to be trying to find, an input, right, with a prop called type, and that should evaluate to this string. Okay, and that title input, which is this right now, needs to also have a prop called value, and that should be equal to this empty string. Okay, let's just make sure that sort of works. Actually, it's going to be checking that I'm pre-filling both title and body inputs, so I think that I won't pass any tests yet. So let's just continue on. And here we're interpolating some JavaScript. This text string will just evaluate to the string text, and this empty string will just evaluate to the empty string. So we don't need those brackets there. So what is our body input? Our body input is a text area, right? Just like how our input, title input is an input component. So we need to create a text area component. So text area, okay. And its value prop should be telephone. Let's see if that passes any tests. You provided a value prop to the form without an onChange handler. This will render a read-only field. All right, well, this is a form. Well, let's just go back to what we're trying to achieve. This is a form where we want to be typing in something, and when we click a button, it's going to create a new post. And right now I can't click anything even though I'm clicking stuff. That's because the value is set to telephone no matter what. And anyways, in our test, we can see, if I look at this, both title and body input fields should start off as an empty string. Okay. If I do this, let's see if it will pass. Yep, pre-fields, title, and body input with an empty string. But we need to update the title and body fields when they change. So on change, I think they're putting telephone in there, in the input, in the title input. Its props.value should then equal telephone. So let's create an onChange property and pass in an onChange event handler function. And in here, we're just going to handle the change. So I wrote this because the handle change is going to be a method on the postForm component. And this is the postForm component in this context. So let's see here. So when onChange is invoked by changing the input, it's going to pass in an event object into its callback function, and we can use that event object in our handle change method in order to see what our current value is, what our current input's value is. So we're going to pass in an e to this dot handle change. We're going to be passing this event into here. And let's console.log the event. And hopefully that works. Let's do the same for the text area. Let's test this out here. So every single time I type, I'm console.logging the event object. So the event object actually has something called, let's see, target. I don't know why it's null right now. And I don't know why it's a proxy. But if you do, let me know, please, because I'm kind of confused about that. But hopefully you remember that an event has a target property, and that target property will be evaluated to whatever our target is. So here I'm changing this input, so it's logging out this input element. Here, if I type here, it's going to be logging out the text area element. And we could grab its value as so. So I'm going to write Bruce, and it's logging out each value of this input. But currently, we're not able to change this input. So what we have to do is write a constructor which will have some state. And usually what we do is have title here and body here. Is it called body? I forgot if it's called body, but let's just assume it's body for now. So whenever we change our input, we need to set the state to that newly changed value. So set state. Set state is a method on this component. And we want to set the state of, let's just set the state of the title for now to e.target.value. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, this is not allowed before super. I forgot to pass it props to our constructor. And I forgot to call super props. Okay, and now still unable to change anything. Let's see what's going on. This set state e.target.value. Okay, well, if you've noticed here, my input always has a value of an empty string. So instead of that, I'm going to change my input value to have the value of its local state. So I'm going to write this.state.title right here. And this value would be this.state.body. Let's try that again. And now I should be able to type stuff. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, so right now when I type in the text area, I'm setting the state of the title, right? So I need to make sure I'm not doing that. So what I can do here is I can pass in another argument into my handle change that would decide which input that I'm actually changing. So here, let's call this element. Can't think of a better word right now. And here our element is going to be our title, and here our element is going to be our body. Actually, element's a terrible name. Let me think of a better one. Prop. Okay, property. Let's just call it property. So here, I'm going to change this to property. So if I'm typing here, I'm going to be sending this string into this function, and it's going to be setting the state of the title to the event's target its value. If I change something here, it's going to be passing body as an argument. So now it's going to set state of the body instead. So let's try it out. Okay. I am body, and I am, yeah, whatever. Okay. So now it seems to be working fine. One thing I don't like though is I don't know whether this is the title input or, yeah, I just don't know what that is. So I'm going to add a label to it. I'm going to use the same way that we use labels on A04. So this is title, and here we have body. All right, I'm going to check what the post should actually have, whether it's body or not. So let me just go to the models here, post.rb. Okay, so that didn't really help me much. Let's go to schema instead. Is it here now? DB, yes, schema. So each post should have a title and body. Okay, perfect. I got lucky. Okay. Let's see, why is this green here? Shouldn't be green. Okay, what was I doing? Okay, yeah, I was writing a body there, and another label to wrap it. Perfect. So let's refresh the page, and now I know what each one is. Okay, let's see if we pass anything right now. Okay, perfect. And everything's working, but there's one problem. When I go to an edit page, like when I press edit, I want this component to be showing the content, like the title of the post and then the body of the post here. I don't want it to start off empty. So I'm going to create some conditionals here where if I'm on the list posts page, return this, and then if I'm on the edit post page, I'm going to want to return something else. I'm going to want to return a post here. This post should represent like the post that I'm looking at. Okay, and to reflect that on the form, I'm going to change this dot state to this dot props dot post. Okay, so now let's see. Let's just worry about the situation where I'm on the create, or I'm on the list post page for now. So let's worry about creating a post. I'm just gonna comment that out. I'm gonna need a button. David's advice was really good in that if you have a button inside a form, it's gonna do submit in by default. So if you click this, it will submit the form by default. Let's just give the button some text. Create post. Okay. And let's create an on submit handler, which will invoke this callback function, which will simply call this dot handle submit. Okay, which will call it, and I'm going to write handle submit right here. And what this is going to do is it's going to get the current state of our input elements, like our input and text area, and it's going to dispatch that action. So let's just say for now console.log I am creating a new post with let me just do this with this .state.title as the post title and this .state.body as the post's body. Let's see if that works. Oh, and also I need to be preventing an actual submit from happening. Okay. So let's see, Bruce is the title, body is ice cream, and I'm going to be creating this. So I'm creating a new post with Bruce ice cream. Perfect, perfect. Let's just run our tests and see what's happening. It's been a while. Okay, I'm still not passing the last test. So let's go to the postForm test again and let's see what's happening here. So it looks like when I submit the form, I need to be calling create post, which is an action creator with new post as an argument. Okay. So let's create yeah, I'm just going to make this pass by doing exactly what it says. Actually, if I look in my post form container, I do see create post here, but I don't have any way to create a post here without mapping this as a prop down to our post form. So I'm just going to write here create post, which will be a function that will dispatch our create post action creator. Okay. And this needs to be passed a post. All right. So this is just a key. This is the actual action creator. So these two create post things are completely different. So here I can now take this .props.create post and call it with this .state because this .state is the post object itself. Okay. And I think we should pass everything now. Hopefully. Okay, perfect. We did. Let's just test it out here as well. Bruce ice cream. Perfect. So I see Bruce there. If I click it, yeah, we didn't implement that yet, so let's not click it. Yeah, so I'm going to delete these. These are kind of weird. So I'm just going to write Alex here. More ice cream. And Ron. More. Okay, okay, yeah. So it works. All right. Let's see what I have to do next. I'm going to be updating an existing post now. So let's drop down to updating existing post. And it looks like I'm going to be on this path when I want to update an existing post, meaning that I have access to the post ID if I check my URL somehow. So let's see, same thing here. postForm wrapper.props post. Let's just do that really fast. I already have a key post, but that key post should be evaluated to the test post instead of this empty string post. So let's see what test post looks like. Where's test post? Test post. Test post. Okay, test post is an actual post with an ID. That means it probably went to the server at one point, and we need to show it in our post form as the default values. So that's what I was saying here, where I said, if I'm on the list post page, do this. If I'm on the edit page, we will be doing something else. So we will be doing this. So let's create conditionals for that. If I'm on the list posts page, do this, return that. Else, that means I'm on the edit page in the context of this test at least. Then I need to grab the post from the state. So state.post is going to give me a big object of all the posts. So one, and then let me just fix that. So post 1, post 2, post 3, right? But what I want is the post that the URL is currently on. So there's something called own props that I can use here. And if I console.log that out, let's see what that looks like. Alright, for now I'm just going to set it to the same thing so I don't run into any bugs. Okay. Okay. I'm on the list page, it's not defined. Yeah, of course. Let's just say true for now. So own props is currently completely empty. So what we can do is we can use with router to wrap the container and give the container some special props that we can use to read the URL. So now with router gave all these props that we can use to read the URL, and we can check to see if we are on the edit page or not by looking at the match property and looking to see whether or not the params object has anything or not. That's my plan anyways. There's multiple ways to do this, but that's what I'm going to do. And test specs here, they're like extremely vague. You can try to figure them out, but I already tried, and since they're vague, I'm going to do this my way. So let's create that variable called if I'm on the list posts page. And we can find out if we're there by saying own props dot match dot params, and then if we're on the edit page, actually, if we see that, the params has a post ID key. But if we're not on that page, it wouldn't have it. So I can say ownprops.match.params.postid. So let's just change that to some Boolean. So if we don't have it, I'm on the list post page will be false. If we do have it, I'm on the list post page would be true. That sounds like the opposite, so I'm just going to get rid of one of these bangs. And now, just to test it, I'm going to write you're on the edit page right here. And let's refresh this, and voila, I'm on the edit page. Let's just see if I do this. I'm not on the edit page anymore. I'm on the edit page, not on the edit page. Okay, so what do we do next? Yeah, so what I was saying was I can index into the state.posts object at the index that I see in my URL. And that index is given by this right here. So out, let's get the index of post and pass that in right there. Oops, I need to index into that, into there. There we go. All right, let's see if that works. No, it didn't, because of that. Let's see if that works. Okay, Bruce ice cream, Alex more ice cream, Ron more ice cream more. Perfect, perfect. And let's see if our tests pass. All right, we're still failing correctly maps dispatch to props, and we're also failing this, which is kind of sad considering all the work we did. Let's see. So correctly maps dispatch to props, it wants a fetch post key. So let's see, it wants a fetch post key. And I can kind of guess what that's going to do. It's going to dispatch the action creator fetch post. And like we have fetch posts here, that's why I was like, oh, probably does this. Let's see if that passed. Oh, fetch post is supposed to be called with the test post's ID. So let's see, fetch post needs to be called with an ID. And where am I even using fetch post here? I don't know. Let's run that again. Okay. Let's see. postForm prefills. Okay. It says prefills title and body input fields with post data from the store. And I know that I'm supposed to call fetch post with the test post's ID. But yeah, so this is what I was saying when the tests are very vague here. It doesn't really tell you that once this component mounts, that's when you need to call fetch post. Actually, do we do it when the component mounts? I wonder. No, actually. Because the component mounts together with everything else. So when we go to the edit page, the component has already been mounted, but the component is receiving new props, right? It's receiving different props. So I'm going to use component will receive props instead and put new props there. And let's just see that this is working by saying I received new props. Okay. Get that done, get rid of that. go here. Okay, so okay, I received new props. Okay, it's not receiving new props from that. All right, but we are receiving new props whenever we go back. Interesting. I receive new props. Here I'm not receiving new props. Let me check right here for a second. Okay. I would think that if you move elsewhere, you're gonna change your props. I'm not too sure. Not too sure. I'm gonna console.log this.props, and I'm gonna console.log the new props here. So let's go back to the start. So here are my old props. It's empty. Post is empty. Here are my new props. Let's go to edit page. And nothing seems to change here. But when I go back, that's when I get stuff. All right, I'm kind of stumped, honestly. Kind of stumped. I wonder if in our router, I wonder if when we go to a new path that we're showing a new form. Oh wait. It seems like the postForm container that we're showing in the post index container is different. Like this postForm container is different from the one we show when we go to the edit page. It's different from this one. Because when we go to the edit page, this is no longer being rendered, and instead this is. So that means this is being mounted, like newly mounted. So yeah, I'm actually going to use component did mount here. And I'm just going to console.log I mounted. All right. So right now, the form mounted, but that form is not the one that mounted when we go to an edit page. So here, this is like kind of like a new form that just mounted. If we go back, we're mounting the other one again. Yeah, so in here, I'm just going to call this.props.fetch post. And how do I get the ID of the URL? I can use let's see. Oh, so this I have with router here, so that means I can access it through this .props.params .props.match.params.post ID. All right, so that should be our post ID, and we're just gonna put it in here. Okay, that was a lot, and I'm sorry for getting off on that tangent with the receive props, but at least now everything makes sense, at least to me. Okay, so triggers the correct action when submitted. So right now, when we submit this, we're always triggering the create post action. So again, we have to write something like if we are on the edit page, do that, right? Do that. Sorry. Else, do this instead. Let's just write that variable. We are on the edit page. And we can tell we're on the edit page by checking if our URL has a post ID. Double bang to change it into a Boolean. Okay. Let's see if that passed. Please. No, it's terrible. All right. Let's see what's happening. This .props.update post is not a function. Is it not? Oh, it's not. So let's create it. Update post. And update post should have a post passed into it. And that's going to be dispatching a update post action creator. Update post, okay. All right, let's run that. Still didn't pass. Let's see. It has to be called with the post. Did I not do that? This dot state should be the post. Interesting. Okay, so if I take too long in trying to figure this out, I'm just going to stop the video, but let's see what I can do. Okay, update post with the test post. Yeah, let's just see how this looks like right now in real life. Okay, invalid property, cannot read property title of null. And that's happening at postForm render line 35. So postForm render line 35. I don't see anything title really. Oh, here, this dot state dot title. Okay. Let's just see what this dot props dot post looks like here. Undefined, okay, makes sense. Let's go to edit page, and now we see it. Soda instead. We update it, and if we go back to the edit page, it still says ice cream. Okay, that's bad. I did make this request where something's undefined. All right, this is a great time to use Redux Logger, so I'm going to do that. So let's go to the store. Let's import Logger from Redux Logger and place it here. Remember, Logger has to be the last thing you put in a middleware. npm install. Oops. I need to do npm install Redux Logger. Save. Okay, while that's doing its thing, just gonna try to figure this out again. Yeah, everything looks good here. Does everything look good here? We are on the edit page. So if we have a post ID, we are on the edit page. So that's going to evaluate to a truthy value, unless the post ID is 0. So yeah, just be careful of that. I'm not even sure what 0 evaluates to. It's just weird JavaScript stuff. But let's see. Let's run. Oh shoot. Let's run our test here and check it out in real life as well. Okay. I did something bad. Let's see. Is it in the logger that I did something bad? Yes, it is. Okay, so we receive all posts. When we go to edit page, we receive a post. And when we try to edit this, we are not editing it. Ice cream is still ice cream. Okay, yeah, that's very strange. Where is my console.log? Okay, here. So I do have title and body everywhere. Okay. Let's check this test again. Sorry for mumbling too much. It's just that I am pretty stumped. So I need to be calling update post with our test post. And it looks like when we handle the submit, I am doing that. Let me write console.log. You are updating, and console.log, you are creating. Right there. Let's try to test it out. Go from the beginning. Let's create a new one actually. Phone. Create. Oh, okay. You are updating. Okay, that's bad. That's really bad. Okay, so the we are on the edit page thing is not working properly. Okay. Well, let me put a debugger here actually, so that I can actually see what this evaluates to. Okay, go here, look at this dot props, and then let's look at match dot params dot post ID is undefined. Okay, I'm just going to do this. If this is undefined, then we are creating, otherwise we are updating. Okay. Create, please. You're creating, perfect, and there it is. Let's go to update. Let's change this to updated. And it says you're updating. Let's go back. It's updated. Perfect. Now I think we should pass. All right, perfect. All right, sorry about that. Sorry so much. Yeah, so the reason that happened was because I was trying to play around with Boolean values, and JavaScript is weird in a way that it treats Booleans in some cases. So yeah, just make sure that you're being explicit with what you really are looking for. Okay, let's get rid of these. And sorry for this giant video, and I'll see you next time.